I wonder whether this mood is about to change, Terry.
Yeah, well, Bill, before the kick-off, it's obviously a party atmosphere. The two teams in the city, there's great rivalry, whether it be from neighbours or family members, support different sides, and the pitch is in perfect condition. I was down there earlier on today, and it's firm. I'm sure we're going to see a real fast game. The players are absolutely pumped and ready to go in this derby game. And speaking of pumped, Bill, we were at the hotel this morning and we bumped into the Neil Hutchell, the Hull KR chairman, who was on his way to the gym. He said he can't wait for today. He's really looking forward to getting stuck in. After speaking to Barry and I for 20 minutes, he had a coffee and went back to bed. So hopefully he's turned up for the game. You tell tale. So hopefully he's turned up for the game. Well, this is going to be absolutely spectacular. Both teams looking to kick off the season here.
Well, it's interesting, and it's been touched on already, that maybe a difference in style here today. Hull FC haven't been prolific point scorers in recent history. Hull Kingston Rovers seem to have more about them in that facet of the game.
Well, there's more craft in the Hull KR side. In boxing, they say that styles make fights. Well, these two teams have contrasting styles, a lot of craft, a lot of ingenuity in the Robins side, and a lot of power and size. And the Black and Whites will try and bludgeon the way to the try line, and Hull KR will try and outfox and outsmart their opposition.
Bill, and we saw some shots of the changing room before, and the players weren't speaking to each other. You don't need motivation in these games. You are well and truly up for it. From the final whistle last week to now, this is the time to play.
Well, it's Rovers and Mantellato who get this game underway. Phil Bentham, our referee. Conditions nigh on perfect. We haven't even got howling winds you normally have on this ground most games of the year. And Hull, with their group of supporters some way behind them on the terracing at that end of the ground. First touch of the ball for them, and these are the nervy moments of the game when the players are looking to settle down. Here's Jamie Shaw, very much on home turf. Jamie Shaw, James Webster, the coach in charge of Rovers at the moment following the departure of Chris Chester. Brief period of Willie Poaching in charge, but Webster has the job for the rest of the season. Sneed puts the kick in, and Rovers get their first touch of the ball.
Knock on. There we go, is it play on?
Well, yes. Play on. The ball picked up, and Tumavave has seized that opportunity. And Phil Bentham will surely go to the video ref. That ball returned from the kick. It came loose. Tumavave picked it up.
Check how the ball came out, please.
And he didn't hang around. And Phil Bentham reckons we've got to try, but he wants to know exactly what happened there.
Well, Josh Mantellato, he returns that ball, meets three players. Is there a hand in? Well, certainly, Carlos Tumavave, he has a stab at that.
Yeah, you can see that when he goes in, Mantellato's going down. It's the right arm of Tumavave, I feel, that pulls that ball away. So Josh Mantellato might be very lucky to get away with this. Is there a grab? I think there's an intentional grab. He looks around, he's looking for the ref's whistle from Phil Bentham.
Are they saying it's a loose carry? Mantellato certainly leads with that arm that he's carrying the ball in.
Well, if you're a Hull KR fan, you're saying that that's a strip. If you're an Hull FC fan, you're saying that that's a try.
Now looking in the grounding, James Child is the video ref. First decision within minutes of the kickoff, and it's no try. What a let-off for Josh Mantellato, denying Carlos Tumavave the try.
It's when he goes into collision, you can see Tumavave's right arm, he lifts his arm up and dislodges the ball. So whether he was carrying that ball loosely into it, it's the action of Tumavave to lift his arm away, and that's the only reason why Mantellato gets away with it.
Phew! You could hear the sigh of relief from the Robins supporters. Could have been a horrendous start to the game for them, as it is. It's the penalty which Maurice Blair, Bobby, to his teammates. Oh, Scott Taylor! Well, he did miss.
Well, a good job as well. He was hunting the big ex-Hull KR prop forward. Him and Liam Watts both played for Hull KR, so they know what it means to him. Look at him shooting out the line, looking to intimidate his opposite.
Kelly. Whoa, Horn put the brakes on. Could have been an obstruction call there.
Square markers, hold.
And Kelly back in the side after a 3-game absence. Plays the ball. Walker now. and in all likelihood, Hull denied a try a moment ago by having to backpedal
Goal line.
and resist Montalato. Here's Chris Clarkson now.
Release 5.
Frank Pritchard gets hold of an ankle, sniping run, and denied. And that'll be the turnover.
Bill James Webster,
Back up, fellas.
the Hull KR coach, knows that for his side to beat Hull FC, they need to play rugby, they need to shift the ball. There's no point getting in a drive or into a contest just driving up the middle. They need to spin the ball out because Hull FC are very strong. We'll see here Danny Houghton, he brings his forwards onto the ball. They're a very big side, Hull.
Well, what they also need to do, Hull KR, is restrict the metres that the black and whites make and keep them as far down this end of the pitch as possible, as often as they can.
Pritchard, quick hands from Pritchard, finds Tumavave, who's playing at standoff, but he's been in the centres up until the last couple of games. Both these sides missing integral players.
Well, Hull FC now on the 5th tackle. I'm sure it's going to be kicked long into the corner here.
Sneyd drills the ball downfield, and Ben Cockayne, preferred fullback. Kieran Dixon missing out again, but he had a great game last time out. Lee Radford's looking on, his side going into this game with a good win under their belts against Wakefield after a little blip.
Well, Ben Cockayne does everything right on that kick return. He comes into the centre of the field. They go to the right-hand side. Where they were setting up for the long shift as Mark Sneyd gives a penalty away. Just the urgency from CO to get up, play the ball.
It's another penalty to Hull Kingston Rovers. A second of the game. Again, Maurice Blair drills it downfield. Kelly, leisurely approach to that ball. Adam Walker now. And Walker upended. And that was a touch and go from Ellis and Houghton, yeah. And Ellis,
Great shot from Ellis. 34 years of age, Gareth Ellis, still throwing his body around. Terrific competitor.
Talk about standing your ground, he certainly did there. Here's Ken Sio, operating in the centres. Sio. Walker again. Middle of the field. About 15 metres out, Hull Kingston Rovers now. The young George Lawler in there, his Derby debut for the 20-year-old hooker. Horn brought down, quick play the ball. Ken Sio now. Kelly will kick crossfield. Montalato will climb. The ball is batted back, and great work to get out of trouble. Mahe Fanua doing excellently there.
He is a big man, and he's got number 2 on his back. He's playing in the centre in this match, just recently returned from injury. He's in the right spot, he ends up with the ball. Watch the power, just shrugs off Thornley.
It's Mahe Fanua, who's been out for 5 games with a knee problem, which he picked up in the first round, in fact. So they're very glad to have him back. Has some presence. There is a lot of physical presence in this Hull FC side. Not short of that.
Both sides, Bill. You won't find any player on either side holding back in this game.
Montalato looks into the sun to claim that Sneyd kick.
Now what's his grip like? There's an interesting tackle technique. And as we recall, Montalato, the former Wyong Kangaroo, he lost control of the ball on his previous return. Watch this. You won't see that in any coaching manual.
Hull Kingston Rovers seeing plenty of the ball at the moment after that nervy start when they could have conceded a try. Montalato losing possession, Tumavave capitalising, but now they are in possession. It's with Ryan Shaw cutting infield.
Well, they certainly are backing themselves, Hull KR. They've had all the field position in the opening 6.5 minutes.
Kelly now. Maurice Blair. Blair misses out one, goes wide to Montalato. Montalato back on the inside. Oh, great defence. Great defence. It's that Frank Pritchard presence doing the job there on Ben Cockayne. Blair stabs a little kick in, the ball ricochets. Good, cool play from Liam Watts.
Do you know what, if Frank Pritchard wasn't there, that was certain to be a try. The big man come from one side to the other, just shut that down. He's certainly shifting the ball. The ball goes back inside. Oof, that was a big hit, wasn't it?
Well,
wow.
How impressed am I and are you with the intensity of this game? We've had 7.5 minutes and nobody's took a breath yet.
It's a derby match living up to expectations between these two great rivals. Their seasons so far have not been that remarkable. Rovers 10th, Hull FC 6th in the table. Well, that counts for very little coming into this game. The 227th derby match as Tuimavave drills a kick downfield. And Rovers again have an opportunity to build. They're getting plenty of possession.
Well, it just seems end-to-end. Look, again, shifting the ball, looking to play, not willing to take Hull FC on. And that's where the threat will be. The forwards just, you know you're going to take a whack now and again, but just set up for your outside backs.
Graham Horne, over 100 games for Rovers and for Hull, for the Hull Kingston Rovers centre. Here's big Dane Tills.
There's that short pass, it's really noticeable. Hull KR, when they're going into contact, they're going to the line, they're making at least one pass, trying to get outside those big six.
Thornley now. And they're looking to get Mantellato going. Here is Mantellato. Blair kicking across the field. Ken Sio will try and challenge for it. The ball ricochets and it comes up for FC. There's a knock on there though, says Phil Bentham.
Well, the ball in here, and James Webster will be really proud of the way that his side are playing. Everyone was expecting Hull FC just to keep rolling forward and keep sapping the energy from Hull KR, but the ball goes up. Albert Kelly does enough just to get in the eye line of Kurt Yeaman, and Ken Sio, the man who's judged to have knocked that ball forward.
Well, we haven't mentioned Albert Kelly too much so far. He hasn't had his hands on the ball too many times. He will bring some try scoring. Obviously, he scores them, he sets them up, he finishes them. But what he also brings is belief. The players alongside him, they'll start to believe that they've got a chance in this game because the number 7 spark player that he is, he's getting involved, and he'll have a growing involvement in this game as it goes on.
Frank Pritchard plays the ball and Danny Houghton serves it up. There he is. Remarkable record he's got. This is his 50th consecutive appearance. He hasn't missed a game since June 2014, but here comes Hull FC in the shape of Curtis Norton, who plays the ball. Now they cross the halfway line. Kurt Yeaman wearing 24, so long. 4 was the number. Now he's number 24 as Sneed hoists that kick, and Cockayne eyes on the ball and claims it despite the pressure from Carlos Tuimavave.
Well, let me tell you, there is some skill involved in, first of all, the kick, and the way it changes direction, and then second of all, to catch it, change, and protect himself. Ben Cockayne, he's been doing it for well over a decade, Ben Cockayne, and he's perfected that art and skill.
Now Hull looking to put some pressure on their opponents and prevent them making the sort of progress they've been making without causing any damage so far.
Bill, they've been spotting up Frank Pritchard. He's been struggling to get back. The first couple of players, they're going straight up the middle of the guts at him. Bit disorganised here though.
Well, Kelly making something out of nothing there, and then the ball bouncing backwards. Referee says play on as it's picked up by Minichiello.
That's gifting the opposition meters. You get through your set of 6, you get to the last tackle, and as the forward, if you're wearing a Hull KR shirt, you want your halfback to kick the ball long. Here, unfortunately, gets caught up, but that's credit to Hull FC's defence.
2, moved in, hold. Go
Problems for Hull Kingston Rovers. Graham Horne having treatment on the run, could be a shoulder problem, but meanwhile Hull FC in possession. First real opportunity since that Tuimavave no try for them to put a bit of pressure on the Rovers defence.
And that's the beauty of making Frank Pritchard do a little bit of defence. He took that ball in, no power, no punch. He's sucking in the big ones at the minute, Frank.
Oh, there's an FC player struggling. It's Carlos Tuimavave. Sneed though, meanwhile, short ball, gets the pass back. It was good hands from Kurt Yeaman that almost opened it up for Sneed, but it was on the last, and it'll be the turnover.
Yeah, he's struggling. Tuimavave got hit I think he was passing the ball on the right side there, and he took a big whack as he goes at the line.
It doesn't look too strong, but the fact that he's in the motion of passing that ball, his body will be relaxed, he won't be expecting it. And they're the ones that knock the wind out of you, the ones that you don't see and you don't expect. He's just taking a minute now to Mavave. He's had a lot of involvements for the Black and White so far. Very impressive player. Good balance, good speed, good decision making. Lee Radford, I think both coaches will be pleased with the arm wrestle. 0-0 on the scoreboard. Territorially, the Robins have had the lion share of that, but it's been a good tussle. Both game plans. Hull KR keep the Black and Whites over the other end of the pitch. And Hull FC get down here and cause some questions, cause some problems and ask some questions.
Tumavave still needing some treatments after that tackle from Mitch Allgood.
You sometimes wonder in these situations whether there's a conversation being had with the doctor and the player about does he need to come off or...
Well, he does.
Yeah. And sometimes it's about convincing the player, and the doctor will dig his heels in and say, nope, we're not restarting, you're coming off, we're assessing you. Good call from the doctor, good call from the medical staff.
So he'll go off for the concussion assessment.
And just on that hit as well, the referee and the touch judges, they were okay with that.
Danny Washbrook will come on, just taking his place as play resumes. It was the turnover. And that's the first real break, first real pause in the game after 12 minutes. It's been such a frantic start. Yet to get any points on the board, though.
Do you know
just
what?
that denied try, ironically, from Tumavave.
Bill, what happens when one of your teammates leaves the pitch is because he's been whacked, because he's been in a collision. It sometimes inspires you, whether you're carrying the ball or whether you're defending. And Hull FC know that they've really got a game on here.
Blair, good quick hands. And Mantellato coming back infield. Ben Cockayne cut down. Dane Tills, like a runaway giraffe, 6'6", playing the ball. Kelly. Cockayne popping up again. Ryan Shaw for the line! Phil Bentham has not awarded the try.
We've got a try. Check touch, please.
He wants to see if Ryan Shaw made contact with the whitewash. I don't think he did.
No, I don't think he did either. Oh, he backs himself here, Ryan Shaw. Look at that. He's got no space whatsoever. He steps off his right foot because he knows if he doesn't step off his right foot and carries on in the line that he's going, he'll get bundled into touch. Great finish.
Fourth try of the season for Ryan Shaw. First points of the game here at the KC Lightstream Stadium, and they go to the home side. And James Webster be delighted with that. They've been probing down Josh Mantellato's wing. First time really they come over Ryan Shaw's side of the field. Bingo! Points on the board.
Well, what a fantastic game this is, and it deserved an outstanding try. Beautiful movement and an outstanding finish from the young man from Barrow. Started his career at Warrington, went to Bradford last year. He's got some utility value. He can play at full-back, play at centre. He's showing what he can do on the wing. He's a big man playing on the wing in the Pat Richards mould or the Josh Mantellato. What a lovely balance here, lovely right foot step. First try to Hull KR.
Tell you what, Bill, what a lovely ball from Ben Cockayne.
He's on fire at the moment. He had a great game against Salford last week.
Incredible. His kick returns, he made his name as a fullback, as a winger, sorry, and then he slotted in at fullback. And that was a good ball, well-weighted pass to find Ryan Shaw on the wing, who goes in. And as I said, just watch when we see the replay where he steps off his right foot to buy himself that bit of time and give himself that momentum, waiting and expecting Jamie Shaw to try and get him into touch.
Second successive try for Ryan Shaw. Got a try against Salford in last weekend's win. Josh Mantellato back in the side after 5 games out, and what a return he made. Kicked for 8 from 10. in that win over Salford. What a player to have in your side. And his first opportunity to increase his goal-kicking tally for the season, and not on target with that one. Rovers ahead by 4 points to 0.
And we should give some praise to the middlemen for Hull KR as well, because they've been set a task of competing and holding on to Hull FC. But when they get in good ball, when they get up this end of the park, they've got players who can cause problems. Albert Kelly, everyone focusing on Albert Kelly. What does Maurice Blur do? And Ben Cockayne, 3 very good players when they're carrying the ball.
The Rovers supporters lifted by that. A try against the arch enemy from across the city. And Hull FC won the most recent meeting between these two sides. It was tight though till big hit again from Gareth Ellis.
He's putting himself about, isn't he, Gareth Ellis?
Cockayne ducks under the challenge, goes looking for more.
Well, you won't make a dent in Ben Cockayne. Such a fierce competitor. He's not going down in the first challenge of anybody.
Now 32 years of age, Ben Cockayne, so he's got bags of experience. He's seen life at both ends of the rugby league spectrum, really, because a lot of his career spent at championship level. He's also played plenty of Super League, so masses of experience. And Hull Kingston Rovers putting it to good use at the moment.
Well, they're working really hard for each other, Hull KR. They're getting off the line. The big thing for them was going into this game was everyone's been writing them off, and they're up against the Hull FC side that themselves haven't been playing well, so they know they've got to be fierce, and when they get an opportunity they've got to make sure that they take that opportunity and pull some points.
Hull FC in possession. Here is Frank Pritchard, now Jamie Shaw. Shaw being shepherded.
Well, it's 16 minutes into the game and I've not seen Frank Pritchard go into collision when he's carrying the ball. You want to see his big rampaging runs as this year. Huge kick.
Do your best with that one again.
Oh, Mantellato was heading back towards his own try line. Ben Cockayne was coming away. They very nearly collided.
Well, Mark Sneyd, he's just getting into his defensive position. He puts that up, and I'm sure as it's gone up, he's watching the flight, watching the trajectory, watches how it's twisting and turning. Fingers crossed. One thing we haven't seen from FC is we haven't seen them with any territory with the ball. Then we'll see what KR are made of. They put all their energy into the stuff with the ball. God's invented two sides of this game, attack and defence.
Just the 4 points on the board. Cockayne gets the pass away to Maurice Blair, whose kick, not the best, into the arms of Curtis Norton.
Well, Bill, the last couple of kicks they've not found the ground, whether that's the good positioning from Hull FC's back three to pouch those balls, but they need to do better.
Watts, the former Rovers man, tackled by his erstwhile colleagues and gets the penalty.
Here we go, this is what we're talking about now, sustained pressure
Holding down
for Hull KR. Albert Kelly up against the big man Liam Watts, puts him on his back but just has a second too long. This is the second set of 6 that Hull KR will have to defend. Are they up to the task?
Can Hull FC get their combinations to click?
First, move.
Going into this game on the back of that win against Wakefield.
Go on, thank you.
And here is Sneyd now. Sneyd fires the pass to Kurt Yeaman, and Yeaman gets the tackle as well. Good defence. Danny Houghton. Scott Taylor.
They're having a good battle, them two. Hunting and looking for one another.
Dane Tilse is left down on the ground after that. Again, the big men playing their part in driving this ball towards the line. Ellis this time tackled just short. Houghton now. Sneyd stabs a little grubber kick in, but the only chaser was Liam Watts. They'll get it back.
Yeah, I thought that was a bit of a wasted kick myself as well, Bill, when that ball goes across. But Mark Sneyd is such an intelligent player. He knows that when he kicks this ball, the outside men aren't reacting to what he's doing, so he's got to follow that up. Comes up with a good tackle here on CO. forces a goal line dropout. And this is the pressure that Lee Radford would have talked about all week. Let's make sure we keep turning them round. Let's trap them down near their own line. Let's see if they can really handle what we're going to throw at them.
First of the game. Goal line dropout. Josh Mantellato just winding up to launch this one down the field. And it's gathered by Curtis Norton. So this is a good phase for Hull FC. At least they're getting their hands on the ball, getting a bit of possession.
Straight up, Graham.
Here is Liam Watts again. A good run from him.
Big, powerful man, Liam Watts.
They're getting closer. Sneed. Now they're going wide to Frank Pritchard.
And that's the first time he's been tackled nearly 20 minutes, Bill.
Short pass. Taylor is all wrapped up. Cockayne flips him over. Houghton now. Sneed. Sneed, the ball to Yeoman was there. Referees waved the tackle count clean and 6 to go for Hull FC. There was a Rovers hand quite obviously in there. Great opportunity. Ellis again. There's an element to give it to the big lad from Hull FC at the moment. Oh, and then they can't do that. And it comes up for the Robins. An ironic cheers from their supporters.
Well, that's poor play from Hull FC. Danny Houghton normally missed the perfection when he passes the ball from dummy half. The execution of the pass normally is a 10 out of 10, but that was a 1 out of 10 from him. Getting them so close to the line. Hull KR condensing the troops around that play of the ball because they know the threat of Danny Houghton, but trying to get the ball out to Mark Sneed, who in turn was lining up the big man Frank Pritchard on the edge.
It was probably Mark Sneed. He was a bit early on his run. The angle that Danny Houghton had to work with was so slight, was like threading the needle, and he hit Gareth Ellis. And I'm going to answer my own question: are they up to the task? Hull KR so far, yes. Great work from the Robins.
Bit of a score to settle for Hull Kingston Rovers, because Hull had the upper hand in meetings between the two sides last year, winning 2 of the 3 encounters. The most recent, Scott Taylor.
He's done that twice. He's come out the line and he's coming from Z defender, cutting across a couple of his teammates. He's certainly got a hunting attitude in defence.
James Green, he feels the full force.
That's just a full-blooded tackle, isn't it?
Was it a tackle?
Well, he throws his body in front. You'll listen to coach say, get your bodies in front. Well, I tell you what, Scott Taylor's certainly done that in the opening 21 minutes. He's been brilliant, Barry.
He's been really good, Scott Taylor. Liam Watts has had quite a few games where he's been on the bench. We've got Palliasina to come on. He can certainly charge the ball forward. There isn't much technique to that. It's just get up and do your best, lad.
Do you know, he's been one of the standout props.
Well, I wonder whether it's not so much Scott Taylor. Does James Green hit a knee on his way down there?
But to be going down,
to injury, that one, isn't
to be going down, you've got to be going down for a certain reason, and the certain reason was Scott Taylor.
He's just been pirouetted by Scott Taylor.
And the doctors again saying, look, let's get you off and have a look at you. Yeah, he does. He catches one. Yeah, you're right.
So Scott Taylor doesn't get you, Liam Watts will.
And again, we were on the sideline, and I know I'm 5'10" and
you're not 5'10"
and a slither, me, and I know I'm not the tallest, but the giants.
And he is big, James Green.
It looks like he might have caught a dead leg as well at some point, bit of a limp. So he's got a climb round the head, he's got a dead leg.
He's only just come on.
He's only just come on.
I know, and you don't want to see lads leave the pitch. Everyone builds up and everyone wants to play in these games. So when lads leave the pitch, you do feel a touch sorry for them.
Well, that's 2, because Twimavave off for Hull FC with a knock to the head. And now James Green off for Hull Kingston Rovers. Also, the pitch is very firm. Unusually so for this time of the year, but there's not been a lot of rain for the last couple of weeks. It is very fast, very firm.
Well, Bill, whether you credit Hull FC's hunting mentality in defence here or they need to buy a bit of time and get a bit deeper on the last play. That's nearly the second time that have been caught out on the last tackle. Hull KR, all the hard work they do in the first 4 or 5 carries, you've got to make sure that you turn the ball over on your terms, place it where you want, try and buy that time on the last play, get a decent play of the ball so you can get a clean kick away.
Straight off. Heads in.
Well, this, the first of our 2 offerings for you, because we've got St Helens against Wigan. Sold out Langtree Park, 3 o'clock, Sky Sports 1 for that. It'll be just as ferocious as this. This is ferocious. Ask Carlos Tuimavave.
Well, the desire and commitment from both teams is an absolute credit to the sport. I'm sure we're going to see lots of occasions of skill and prowess and some of the subtleties of our game, but it's that desire and commitment that I'm enjoying at the minute.
Yeah, not a great deal of refinement, I think you'd agree.
You don't need it sometimes, though, do you?
Still 3. Still
You're
3.
asking too props here.
Not likely to get it with you 2 around, are we?
You're asking props, Bill.
But it's full-on stuff. And that ball's come out, and it's come out because there was a Hull Kingston Rovers hand in there, says Phil Bentham, who is keeping a very cool head.
Well, you've got to keep a lid on things, haven't you? You know that both sets of players are going to be going at each other. Josh Mantellato doesn't think that this ball's stripped, but again, it's because his right arm, is tucked in the vicinity of the ball carrier. That's why he gives the penalty away. So if you're going to do that and you're trying to wrap the ball up, make sure you get a good, clean grip around the player, clamp the ball, but not have any, or give any clues away to the referee that you've got your arm in there and you're looking to strip that ball.
So Frank Pritchard with the first charge. Jamie Shaw, burst of pace from the full back, but not able to pierce the Robins defence. Houghton ducks under the first challenge from James Greenwood.
Hold. Goal 3.
Oh, and Ellis can't take that pass. And the ball is spilled. The pass from Josh Bowden.
Bill, and if you looked at the play of the ball that led up to this play, Jamie Shaw's behind dummy half saying, what's on, lads? What's on? Marks needs trying to organise something. And when they're in good ball, they've got to know exactly what they're doing. What's my job?
Is this where Leon Price is missed? Because he'd be out there just telling people where things are going to be and who's going to be where, would he?
Well, they'd certainly need an element of composure. That ball was never on, and it was behind from Josh Bowden to Gareth Ellis. And 2 players were drawn, 2 KR defenders were drawn to Gareth Ellis. If that ball goes out the back, there's an overlap somewhere in some space.
It didn't, it hasn't, and it's Hull Kingston Rovers who are in possession and holding a 4-0 lead. So not a points fest, despite optimum conditions here.
It's what they call a slugfest, this one.
Here is Graham Horne, and he's been involved in a few slugfests in his long career.
Good hands from Albert Kelly.
Bobby Blair belts the ball down the field.
And that's a better way to turn the ball over. Pass the ball out, 2 players away from the ruck, bring up the Hull FC defence and then stick it where you want it.
Takes a very good player to catch a bad pass and then give
a good pass.
Then give a good pass, yeah.
Hull FC just approaching the halfway line. Kurt Yeaman, second only to Richard Horne on Hull's Super League appearance list. Kurt Yeaman still going strong in his 16th Super League season. Sneed now. Washbrook stretching to get that one. Mahi Vanua heading for the sidelines, just managing to stay in the field of play on the last. So Sneed hoists the kick. Washbrook is chasing and claiming the try.
I think he knocks this ball forward, Washbrook.
It's on the last tackle.
Well, another video ref call.
I've got
Phil
no
Bentham
try.
agrees. He hasn't seen anything that suggests it is a try.
Okay.
Washbrook, I think,
He knocks the ball forward.
Yeah,
It's not
as
that on,
he's challenging from this ball. There we see, it's an interesting change of style. It's an end-over-end kick from Sneyd, who's had some joy out of those spirals. A committed chase, and there's the knock-on from Danny Washbrook.
And you can see that from that kick, Washbrook was onside. That's what they were checking for. First of all, the video referee, he makes a play for that. He gets over the top of the Hull KR fullback, Ben Cockayne. Both men can attempt to catch this pass. It does touch Ben Cockayne, but it also touches Danny Washbrook and goes forward. This will be no try. This shows you what Hull FC can do, and they get into that decent field position.
James Child, the video ref, having a good look at this. Danny Washbrook not 100% convinced himself,
Reach down, James.
as he's got his first of the season. Unlikely, I'd say.
Hand over.
But it's the closest Lee Radford side have come. Well, no, they had that Tuimavave no try as well.
Well, let's not
Two
forget.
no tries.
Let's not forget, Tuimavave is off the pitch in the minute. He started the game at standoff. Danny Washbrook, he's come on and he's playing that role, you feel, at the minute. He's definitely not a pivot.
That's it.
And he'll give you endeavour all day long, Danny Washbrook. And that showed in that committed chase then.
First, move, Scott.
Clap of the hands from young George Lawler. And here's Adam Walker.
2, move, Mark.
It's a good start to the season,
Back
Walker,
in,
the Bradford-born prop.
3, move now.
Ben Cockayne.
Goal 3.
Cockayne serves it up to Greenwood. It's James
4,
Greenwood.
move back up. Hold.
Lawler gives way to Ben Cockayne,
Shot in the 10.
who takes him on.
5.
He's always looking for work, Cockayne, isn't he?
Goal.
And now Lawler. Kelly kicks to the line. Ooh, silky hands from Jamie Shaw.
1, move.
It wasn't a big expansive set of 6 from Hull KR. They all knew their job. Just nice and simple, just one-up carries from the ruck, but turning the ball over in the
2,
corner.
move, Maurice.
You're right, Bill. Wonderful skill from Jamie Shaw to collect that ball. They're having to work hard again, Hull FC.
Steve Michaels
3, move, George.
with a short run. Kurt Yeaman in the play before, furious to think that the referee didn't spot
4,
somebody had a hold of his ankle as he was trying to get to his feet.
Goal.
Plonked the ball down. Here is Feka Paliasina off the bench. First Super League appearance of the season for the big man.
Goal.
Now Sneyd. Minicello. Oh, the ball's been snaffled by Ken Sio. And Sio, it's see you later for Hull Kingston Rovers. Ken Sio, second try of the game, his third try of the season, snaffling that pass as Hull FC tried to be expansive. Normally a wingman playing in the centres, but nevertheless a great finisher. He got 24 tries last year, and he's that sort of finisher. Sees a chance, grabs it.
Bill, I was about to say, Mark Minicello's been quiet in this game until he pops up with this past the blind offload to Ken Sio. This is his first showing in the centre this year for Hull KR. One of the quickest men on the books, and as soon as he gets in the clear, you know that it's going to be a try for the Robins. The blind offload goes into collision, knows that they've got numbers, then it could have been a 3-on-2 if they had a bit more depth, so blew an opportunity themselves, but Ken Sio chased down by Scott Taylor, the Hull FC prop forward. But this wasn't on, surely, Barry.
Ken Sio, he doesn't need a second invitation. As you quite rightly said, it's one of the fastest men on the pitch getting on the scoreboard.
Well, Hull FC shooting themselves in the foot there. Lee Radford and Andy Last alongside him.
Bill,
We'll know that.
Sorry, Bill, where he expected them to be strong and physical and try and bully Hull KR. They've not had it going their own way. So then they're trying to play outside of them. And as I say, Mark Minicello, one of the most devastating players that Hull FC have got. Like, he doesn't need to come up with that pass.
So Minicello, who missed with his only other conversion attempt in this game.
Time on.
This time, he's on target. And Hull Kingston Rovers assembling a tidy lead here, 10 points to 0.
Well, I want you to watch the decision. Mark Sneyd chooses the front door pass. It's 3v2. And Jamie Shaw, if he gets that ball round the back earlier, he can create a chance, an opportunity, and those are the margins in derby games. Lovely finish from the Robins.
And then they almost make a hash of the restart. It was a great signing, Ken Sio. They did well to get him out of the NRL from the Parramatta Eels. He got 37 tries in 57 games in his NRL career, and he's carried on scoring, and Hull FC have been penalised. Not enjoying this at the moment.
No, you talk about when you score tries, you've got to complete that next set of 6, and what's better for Hull KR is that they get a penalty. They don't make that mistake.
Well, Frank Pritchard, he's on the pitch at the same time as Palliasina. And Hull KR seem to be going from one to the other, making all the defenders around those big men a little bit nervous. They're jumping in, staying out, and that's a perfect tactic with big plays like that.
Greenwood.
Held, move!
Half an hour gone at the KC Lightstream Stadium, and game so far largely belonging to Hull Kingston Rovers. 2 FC tries disallowed, but Hull Kingston Rovers have taken their chances. Boudebsa is on the field, the little French hooker, and a good run from him. Rovers fans claiming he was caught high, but he plays the ball quickly. Here's Kelly, oof, and Cockayne gets the pass and the tackle from Kirk Yeaman at the same time. Here's James Greenwood, good drive from him. Another quick play the ball, but Debsa, Rovers looking for more points here.
Oh, if that ball went wide, then I'm sure that was a certain try. It was a quick play of the ball, but Debsa out from dummy half. Rob Mulhern as well started all that set of 6 off with a telling drive.
It's good work from the fresh players, isn't it? Rob Mulhern, come on, James. Greenwood played that ball quick as he could. But Hull KR in full control of this match at the minute.
It was the last tackle, that play, so Hull FC in possession, and now they get the penalty. That's a big bonus for them.
Well, that's the strong carry, and this is the sort of play you'd expect from Mark Minicello. Very rarely gets dominated in a collision. Always lands on his front, so powerful, getting to his feet.
Boudebsa, the man penalised, I think. Hull FC need to just burst this Rovers bubble at the moment. Haven't really got any dominance in this game, despite the physical dominance that they've got.
He's gassed, Pritchard.
Is that very lateral or what?
Frank Pritchard, that's the big go-to play for him. You see him acting half. He's had a lot of defence to do, a lot of work to do. Looks tired when he's carrying the ball. That's his main asset.
Move on him!
There is Frank the Tank, one of the big close season signings in Super League, in the sense that he's big, and also he's a big name. Kirk Yeaman.
He's made 16 tackles already. The last 3 or 4 weeks he's been making an average of 6 in a game.
4 tackles gone. Sneyd stamps a grubber kick in, and everything seems to be going the Robins' way at the moment. That ricochet could have gone anywhere. It went into the hands of Greenwood.
Well, Bill, what they're doing, Hull KR, they're just putting themselves where the action is. Wherever Hull FC look like they're shifting the ball, wherever they are, they're just making sure they're in front of them. It's so important as well for Hull FC, because they've only got really one playmaker on there in Mark Sneyd, that the forwards play a dominant role, and so far they're not doing that. There's no platform for them to play off.
Here comes the red and white charge again, and the pass was fired at Mantellato by, I think it was Ian Thornley.
Yeah, softer hands, Bill.
Yeah.
Softer hands, gets on the outside of Vanua. looks to get that 2-on-1 with Michaels, but it was just too hard.
And I think also this try line, Josh Mantelato's conscious and cautious of that try line. He maybe had another metre to play with. Very difficult when you've got the back to the try line to know where you are on the pitch.
Heads in, Ben.
So it will be Hull FC feed on the halfway line. James Webster, he and Lee Radford were the rival captains in the first Super League derby between Hull and Rovers in 2007. And they've worked with each other, they know each other well, they've got a lot of respect and time for each other. But there's too much at stake for any sentiment today.
Well, there's no friendship when you're on opposite sides of the fence, Bill. And James Webster told me a wonderful story about the first time he met Lee Radford. He said he didn't understand what he was saying. He was just this toothless man who was working in a sports shop, and turned out to be a great friend. He said he's still a toothless man. He's just not working in a sports shop anymore.
No, he's working in a very high-pressure job with very demanding supporters who want their team to hit the heights. They haven't done so far. That was a forward pass. There was one earlier in this set that looked marginal, but that one was called by Phil Bentham.
Yeah, it's so close. You try and practice getting over the ad line as soon as you can, but it's just a couple of centimetres really. You try and get into top speed, get your team going forward, create that momentum, and Lee Radford knows that you don't want to turn over that cheap ball. You don't want to let the opposition know that they're in with a chance of winning the game. You want to put that doubt in the mind as well.
Here we go, heads in.
Some nerves there in those spectators. They know they've been outplayed opening 36 minutes or so.
Go.
Here's one of the Rovers try scorers in this first half, Ryan Shaw.
Second. Move. Hold.
Debza back
Go.
in the side after that 4-game ban for the tackle on Michael Shenton earlier in the season. That's a penalty. Danny Houghton furious with that decision from referee Bentham, but...
Yeah, very clumsy. See Palacina, the number 14, he's also made 7 tackles, not noted for his defence. That man he'll defend all day long.
First.
10 points on the scoreboard against the Black and Whites. There's another mistake
Hands
and
in.
another penalty.
Do you go for 2 points here? Or do you keep on going? I'd go for 2 points.
Yes, I'd go for 2.
With Mantellato in the side, that's the inclination, and he's wandering over. Yeah,
Pick up those 2 you dropped after the try.
Yeah, less than 3 minutes to go to half-time. Just get your composure. Don't concede any points. A couple of strong carries that have led to Hull FC giving away those penalties. And this is playing right into the hands of James Webster's men.
He was going to go Palacina.
he'll be very satisfied with this first 40 minutes.
Yeah, no problem. That's fine.
Looking very cool, looking very dapper.
Yeah, he must have borrowed that suit, James Webster. Really intelligent player when he played.
Mantellato, meanwhile, has the ball teed up.
Stand still, lads.
That was a career best return last weekend against Salford, that 8 from 10. And this is bang on to the posts and sails over towards those FC supporters in the distance, and just edges Hull Kingston Rovers further ahead by 12 points to 0 as half-time approaches.
Well, Hull KR, their anthem is give us a little respect from Erasure. Well, they're certainly earning that respect today. Very comprehensive 38 minutes or so. Can they finish it off and go into half-time in this positive streak?
Well, what James Webster will be hoping is that they don't do what they did against Salford last week, where they dominated the first half there and very nearly blew it. They allowed Salford to get back to within 6 points of them.
They did do, Phil, but the big plus for them was they found a way to win that game, didn't they?
Debza, yeah, Gallic flop from the hooker, and now
There we go, there we go.
Is it FC's frustration? Oh, and then somebody throws the ball.
Well, there's a lot of frustration, isn't it, in the Hull FC players.
But Debza's thrown that ball. He's dived on the floor,
Walk away.
got back up, Started pushing and shoving.
Gone round
the
and
ball.
apologised to Danny Houghton.
Yeah, well.
Well, this is what it means to the players now. Both sets won't back down. They won't show a sign of weakness.
Oh dear me.
Well, it was a shoulder charge, but you don't go down like that. Come on, just keep your feet, keep playing.
No.
Don't try and just milk a penalty.
Well, that's a shot. Ben Cockayne being around the vicinity.
Tebson lobs it in from the back.
Yeah, but then stands back and then goes round the back and apologises to Danny Houghton.
Okay, it was a shoulder.
Unsportsmanlike use of the ball.
Well, he sees all these big men in front of him and thinks, yeah, I'll get away with that. Yeah, that was a shoulder charge.
Josh Bowden.
But it was a penalty. It was a penalty because it was a shoulder charge. But don't milk the penalty. You don't need to do that.
Got him
You
with
need
shoulder.
to be the Chelsea side
Okay,
to do
shoulder
that.
charge. All right, well, walk away, Ben. All right, walk away.
Ben Cockayne
John.
involved as well. And Phil Bentham.
Ben.
Very measured
wait here.
response from him.
Okay, I understand. Yeah, he threw the ball at
Bedeb's
somebody.
English is
Then
very
he
good.
reignites it. Okay, you need to leave that out. Okay, Ben also running in. First
Thing we'll end
penalty,
up
shoulder charge.
Yep, the original offence, which was the shoulder charge.
So he's got the offence, what we're all talking about. But Bedebson, I don't know whether he was trying to point at him and then the ball actually came out of his hand. Because I don't know what he would have gained from throwing the ball at play. It's not going to hurt anybody.
Oh, lads. Wait for it. Discipline tackle, lads.
The penalty, De Hooter has sounded, so last
Who wants this one?
play of the first 40 minutes. And that's Cockayne. Ball gone backwards, says the referee. Play continues, it's gone to ground now. And that'll be the end of the first 40 minutes. And that little passage, summing up what at times has been a scrappy first 40 minutes, but it's been a satisfactory first 40 minutes for Hull Kingston Rovers and their supporters, because they've scored a couple of tries. Montelato has kicked a couple of goals, and they lead by 12 points to 0 at the break.
Yes, a lively end to that first half, and Hull Kingston Rovers taking a 12-0 lead into the dressing rooms with them, courtesy of Ryan Shaw's try, Ken Seo's try, and a couple of kicks from Josh Montelato. Lee Radford is 37 tomorrow. He's aiming for his third consecutive win against the old enemy. It's 13 points away, at least, at the moment.
Well, a massive crowd expected at Langtree Park Stadium. Our cameras are already present and ready to bring you a 3 p.m. start. Sky Sports 1, traditional Good Friday derby. St Helens and the local rivals, the Wigan Warriors. There's few greater rivalries than this one. Hull Kingston Rovers, Hull FC. Rovers the underdogs going into this game. They lead 12-0 at half-time. Tries from Shaw and Seo. Montelato with one conversion and then one late penalty to give them a healthy 12-point lead. James Webster said in the build-up to this game that he would encourage his players to enjoy and thrive off the atmosphere generated by a Hull Kingston Rovers game. The caretaker coach is getting that. He was captain in the first ever Super League meeting between these two sides, as was Lee Radford on the other side for Hull FC. He is now managing them, and his side are in a little bit of a hole at the moment, trailing in the game and looking devoid of ideas in attack. Lee Radford, plenty of work to do. John Wells joined me to hear your initial thoughts after watching that first 40 minutes and seeing the underdogs, Hull Kingston Rovers, go in ahead at half-time.
Yeah, I think the underdogs, but I think they arguably bring the best form into today's game. And I think they've looked...
One game form?
Well, it doesn't matter, does it? They've got form going into this game. They particularly scoring points in attack. I mean, defences have been all over the place, it seems, in Super League full stop this season so far. But, in terms of attacking rugby, and we say defences have been leaky. That first 40 minutes there will be very impressive, but I'm not sure how much you put that down to Hull FC's lack of ambition and drive as much as Hull KR's problems.
Speaking of defence has been leaking, my nose is leaking at the moment here with the cold here at Langtree Park Stadium. 44 points to 30. Hull Kingston Rovers won last week against Salford. And Lee Radford, the Hull FC coach, he said, the worrying thing for us as a Hull FC side trying to defend against Hull Kingston Rovers is the amount of air time that they give the ball, the amount of passes they're willing to string together as a side. He got a great look at that. His side got an even closer look at that in the build-up to the first try for Ryan Shaw. Talk us through this one, John.
Yeah, the build-up which stretched back a couple of plays before this. They started to gradually unpick this Hull FC defence. We join it 2 plays before the try-scoring tackle, and you've got 2 on the short side against 3. They've engineered that, they've manufactured that, and they take advantage of it. They don't get a clean break through this. Also, Blair going on the short side generates that extra number. Mantellato back on the inside, Cocaine off the floor, and you can start to see now the cumulative effect again, the Hull FC defence unravelling. That's an important drive by Dane Tilse, fights to get a quick play the ball, and you can see the advantage immediately from that quick play the ball.
Can you solve it from now, John, if you're Hull FC?
You can, but you're not making... Well, Dane Tilse has made life very difficult for you as a Hull FC player because there's no defensive line speed now, and you've got a set attack with a very decent ball player and some options out here. I'll run this on a bit because your question, can it be solved? You're asking now the questions on this left edge amongst these 2 players here, and what they've got to do, have a look at the space they've got behind them. That's the key. There's still fully 20 metres that they can give up. They've got metres to play with. They don't need to make decisions just yet, but I think arguably they sink a little. I think 2 players paying too much attention to what Ben Cocaine's doing with the ball. That said, it's a great pass from Ben Cocaine. I'm going to stop this one more time before we run through for the try, because I want to say at this point now, this is... People talk about pace in the game and wingers and outside backs with genuine pace. That, to me, you look at the freeze frame, and I was to say to you, that looks like a... Curtis Norton's arguably got that covered. Ryan Shaw's got very little room to work with. He's got a little corridor here that he can work in. But you look at the first 2 steps that he takes when he gets on the outside, and this is what pure pace can do. Can get you out of an awful lot of trouble and cause an awful lot of problems for the opposition. Just that gas there, that half a second that takes him away from the covering defence.
Okay, if Hull Kingston Rovers brought the attacking prowess they showed last week into today's game, they didn't bring the defensive frailties into that first 40 minutes, and the defensive ability of Hull Kingston Rovers has frustrated Hull FC. Show some examples. It
has, yeah. You've got again, Hull FC, they're going at an area of the field very familiar for Hull KR players and fans alike. They're going in and around Albert Kelly, not noted for his defence. I don't think he's a particularly weak defender, but he's not one of the bigger guys on the field.
He's who you want making tackles.
That's exactly right. If not for the breaks and the tries, then at least to burn some juice up. But they've been relentless of Hull FC, almost too predictable in going at him. That said, they've had some decent shape around Albert Kelly. So you've got to then look at the guys around him. Great read by CO, because this line here is going straight through for a try. Great cover. It's 4 examples here. This was in the immediate aftermath of the Shaw try. Hull FC causing some real problems, all snuffed out by Hull KR. Have a look at Mitch Allgood. He's in at marker there, makes a great covering tackle, not switching off. Those little things that they're doing right as a collective unit. This one's even better. Have a look at the line here from Kirk Yeaman. You say at that point there, I mean, that's a try. Ken Seo again making the right decision. It's a knockdown, yes, and it's another set of 6 for Hull FC. But it's a try saver nonetheless. Hull FC, the culmination of which I think very frustrated. They're starting to misread plays, starting to make mistakes, and that became even more evident when we look at the last try.
Okay, that's a poor attacking play by Hull FC on that occasion, throwing the ball into Scott Taylor. We saw a more costly attacking play for them break down. Your thoughts on this play? Their lack of attack over the last couple of seasons has been a criticism aimed at Hull FC. This has gone badly wrong for them here. Talk us through what he's done wrong, what he should have done.
Well, the obvious starting point, so they're missing a playmaker, and they're already down a playmaker before they come in the game.
But this is one of their best.
I'd say there's the more general point that you need to make before you even start is look where they are on the field. This is the last tackle. Look where they are on the field. They're playing the ball on the halfway line. This is no time. I think even with half an hour gone, and they're only 4-0 down at this point, I don't think they show anywhere near enough patience. And they're starting now. Again, they're on this area of the field. They're going in and around Albert Kelly, but they're not showing patience. The decision, once you make that decision to run on the last tackle, I think you've got to find a better play than this. I think
the ball out the back.
Yeah, I think the position. I'm not sure whether this was the initial play. You take this back and you look at this, whether the initial play has just been snuffed out because it's a good read, because Albert Kelly's not sunk in to Mark Sneyd as Mark Sneyd would have expected him to do. You imagine Albert Kelly goes in here. I think that's what the expectation was, and then Minichello's got a route in with all kinds of supporting players. That's plan A's not worked for them. But then to force plan B and on the last tackle invites trouble and invites, for me, the best player on the whole OKR ranks, both in attack and defence in the first 40 minutes. Ken Sio made no mistake dispatching that.
Okay, we're going to go to a short break now. Before that, can I get quickly your suggestion for Hull FC and attack that you gave me off air?
I
understand it. Go ahead with it.
Well, Danny Washbrook's not working there as a pivot. Stick Frank Pritchard in. He's got hands and he will attract defenders to him.
To spark Hull FC's attack.
Something, yeah.
Because they do need something, absolutely. There's a big crowd at the KC Lightstream Stadium. They will be delighted with how the home side are doing at the moment. 12 points to the good ahead of Hull FC. But look, Lee Radford's side have a good enough team out on the field to have a say in this second half. And they will know a win in a derby match will mean so much for players, coaches and fans in that rugby proud city.
It's a Super League Good Friday and it's the start of a busy Easter weekend. We're back with you on Monday. 2:45 first of all, we go and see at the moment the table toppers Widnes, who have an important game today against Warrington. They will play St Helens on Easter Monday. We'll be there at 2:45 here on Sky Sports 1, and a little later at 5 it's the Catalan Dragons against last night's winners, the Cassava Tigers. The Hull derby though has reached the half-time stage and Hull Kingston Rovers are ahead by 12 points to nil. The underdogs are doing well. The Rovers have won the last 3 home Easter showdowns against Hull FC and they're on course to make it number 4. Glorious day on this Good Friday as was forecast. Let's go back to the KC Lightstream Stadium. Barry McDermott, Terry O'Connor and Bill Arthur are waiting.
Yes, Hull FC with some work to do in this second half. All set to go. Mark Sneed with the ball teed up. And a big second half teed up here at the KC Lightstream Stadium. Rovers playing with the sun still blazing down here in East Hull at their backs.
Move!
And I wonder what Hull FC's response to a disappointing first 40 minutes will be. Could have been different if the video ref had smiled on them, but they've lost that ball. And they've got a penalty very early on in the play in this second half. There was a little nudge from Gareth Ellis in the view of referee Phil Bentham. Just very
They're 50-50 calls then.
There was a little boot in there.
And Gareth Ellis trying to control it. Bowden as well, Josh Bowden, he's involved in it. But to answer your question, Bill, I think the Black and Whites, they need to score for their own mindset. They put everything into this half. Whatever they've touched has just fallen down around them, and they need to get something out of these first 5 minutes or you really fear for them.
Well, from that penalty, Hull Kingston Rovers are immediately on the attack, and here is Ben Cockayne having a busy game for the Red and Whites. Sneed claiming that Cockayne lost that ball. Yeaman and Cockayne, as play continues, in back play, exchanging pleasantries. And the conversation joined by some of their teammates as well.
Yeah, it's all gone now though. On with the game.
Here's Kelly. Kelly taken high. The referee didn't see anything wrong with that challenge from Gareth Ellis. Maurice Blair puts the kick in, ricochets, still on the last, says the referee. Kelly hoists the kick, there are numbers there, and it's well claimed by Mahe Fanua.
And the Black and Whites certainly have some enthusiasm to start this second half with. Albert Kelly puts a high-hanging kick in, and Fanua, he's got the challenge of making those metres. And as I say, you do feel the further up the pitch they get, the more likely it is that Hull FC will score.
Let's get an insight into what the thinking was at half-time, or maybe we'll wait, because here comes Hull FC in the shape of Frank Pritchard. Oh, that ball!
Back to one, I think.
It's back to one, because Kelly made a lunge at it, and Hull FC have another set of 6.
Move now!
You can see just lunges forward, the temptation's just too much. Spotted that there was no 9 behind the dummy half, so he thought he was going to get that ball back.
Ellis plays the ball. And that's another penalty in this one in favour of Hull FC. So the penalty count evening up, 7-4 now in favour of Hull Kingston Rovers, that penalty count. So Sneyd drills the ball into the corner.
And this is exactly what they need. Speaking with Lee Radford downstairs, he's saying we'll get an opportunity, and this could be an opportunity. We need to be smarter with the ball. We need to make sure that we turn up. There's no one-up carries, and we need some territory. And if you talk about James Webster, a smiling coach, well, he's absolutely beaming.
Well, he's beaming now because that ball has bobbled up. And now then, what's Phil Bentham seen there? He was knocked on. James Webster wondering what the decision is going to be. He's looking to his touch judge, and he's giving head and feet to Hull Kingston Rovers. The ball, the initial pass was forward. You were talking about James Webster.
Yeah, well, James Webster, he said that we've handled Hull's forwards and we've opened them up a few times when they've had the ball. We need to make sure that we keep playing tough, keep matching them, and keep moving them around. Let's not just put the ball under our wing and just try and take them on and match them because we're on top. We need to make sure that we back ourselves, take our chances, we'll go on and win this game. And just some injury news. Carlos Tumivavi, he's failed a concussion test, so he will not be back.
Well,
So
that
it's a
makes
big
it
load.
very difficult for the Black and Whites. Just to extend the point that I was making about Big Frank Pritchard, he'd made, just going into the half-time break, he'd made a total of 18 tackles, and Danny Houghton, normally a tackling machine, he'd only made 21. So the reason that the forwards are ineffective is they're having to do a lot more work defensively.
And they've moved Frank Pritchard from the right onto the left-hand side. So whether they're trying to bring him into the game, they've switched Mark Minicello to the right side, we'll wait and see.
There's Hull Kingston Rovers in possession at the moment, just crossing the halfway line. On the last, Kelly hoists the kick. Steve Michaels safely underneath that one, and Michaels with a good return.
Well, that is how you return a ball, isn't it? As soon as you catch it, get into top speed as quick as you can. There's maybe one of those one-up carries that Richard Horn and Lee Radford were on about. Make sure you push up. Anyone who can get their arm free, you've got to be there in support.
Gareth Ellis, as usual, a really busy, wholehearted contribution from the former West Tigers hero. On the halfway line, the side still finding each other out at the start of this second half. Ball back on the inside to Jamie Shaw. Here's Minicello now. Minicello not afraid to try that pass again. The last time he tried that, it came up for Ken Seo. And Hull Kingston Rovers have got that ball back. The touch judge is on. And maybe thinking that there was an FC player held back there as he tried to go for that ball. He was.
Yeah, there's a penalty here. Well, the ball came off a Hull KR player anyway, and there's a penalty here for Hull FC. So this is the territory that they're after. This is the territory that they would have talked about. Create that momentum now going forward.
As Danny Washbrook putting the kick into touch with Tumivavi out of the reckoning for the rest of this game. Danny Washbrook's going to be a busy man. So here comes the FC, about 15 metres out, looking for a big start to this second half. Houghton spoons the ball up. Minicello now takes the pass from Washbrook, takes the tackle as well, almost back where they started. Houghton scoots himself, he is brought down. Cockayne with the tackle. Stutter from Josh Bowden. Bowden still going. Rovers back on their own try line now. Here is Sneyd. Sneyd delays the pass and looks for an opportunity. It's not there. Ben Cockayne again in the thick of it. Houghton kicks cross field. Michaels will go up for it, but it's Mantalato who claims that one.
Well, they're in all kinds of trouble here, Hull FC. Sneyd gets tackled on the last. Danny Houghton has to put it up. It's not a bad effort from the hooker, but that's certainly not his job on a regular basis. The big tall Mantalato, he gets over his opposite and pouches the ball for his team.
This is a real problem for Hull FC, isn't it? Because obviously Leon Price out of the reckoning at the moment. Tumivavi, who started the season in the centres, deputising, he's off now. Danny Washbrook having to occupy that role.
But as I said, well, like I said in the first half, it'd be easier for them if they were going forward, if they were winning those battles with the forwards, but Hull KR are on top.
There's Kelly. Hoists the kick. Doesn't have any great depth on it, but well claimed. And Kelly chasing up, hoping for a ricochet off Curtis Norton, but nothing came. Here is Kurt Yeaman now, familiar, stuttering run. Jamie Shaw hoping for a quick play the ball and a little bit of a fractured defence, but there's no sign of any gaps there for him to exploit.
Well, again, Jamie Shaw not coming off the back of a quick play the ball. That's where you want to see Jamie Shaw. Who's going to learn, who's going to do all that dirty work? Taking a tackle and taking some big tackles as well from the Hull KR big set of 6.
Washbrook fires the pass to Mahe Fanua. He's lost the ball and it's a knock-on.
Well, the frustrations coming into and creeping into the Hull side is because they know that they're behind on the scoreboard. The minutes are ticking down. They're trying to, every time that they get their arms free, do they look for an offload? Mantellato coming off over the top, steps off his right foot, comes over, locks up the ball, just dislodges that. So it is a loose carry. And Fanua, well, a player that's fabulous. You give him a bit of space and he'll score some tries. So strong when he's going forward, carrying the ball.
Holds the distinction of being the first Melbourne-born player to play for the Melbourne Storm, Mahe Fanua.
Speed of the rock, make sure we come straight up.
Big signing, the Tongan international. Here's Josh Mantellato.
Move, Danny. Oh, God.
Now then, Albert Kelly enjoying his return to the Hull Kingston Rovers side today. Kelly celebrated his 25th birthday earlier this week. Kelly, and hoping that the week will round off. There he is with a victory over FC. At the moment, it's looking good. They lead by 12 points to 0, but it won't take much for this game to well, it will, at the way we're going. It needs FC to find some attacking potency.
Well, they've just not got any rhythm so far, Hull FC.
And they haven't got their defence together at the moment as Maurice Blair gets the pass away, but Debser finds Thornley. Thornley might go all the way. Ian Thornley adds to Hull FC's woes, but referee Phil Bentham is not convinced.
Tackle 4.
He reckons it's a try,
just before he grabs
but he
the
wants
ball.
to see
Can we just check that, please, James?
what happened in the build-up to that Ian Thornley possible try.
Well, it was lovely interplay, and the question is about the grip and control of Thornley as he goes over. Minicello doing the best job he can. No, he does not lose control of that ball. Doesn't look like on that angle anyway. We'll have another look from this angle. Ian Thornley, he's a little bit short. Momentum keeps going. Is there a bobble or a nudge? Well, Phil Bentham, he's in the right place and the best place. He gave it as a try. And there's still a player down on the floor as we watch a replay.
I think it's Mark Minicello. That's Minicello's trying to make the tackle there on Thornley, and he's been left down on the field. To add insult to possible injury, it is another try, I'm sure, for Hull Kingston Rovers, and second successive try for Ian Thornley, the former Wigan man. And James Webster mighty pleased with the way this game is going for him and his team. They lead by 16 points to 0.
Well, a good first half performance from Hull KR, and they've started this second half off really well. The opening 10 minutes has been all about them and what they're doing. Mark Minicello still struggling on the ground, but that will give them confidence as well. Again, the shift plays and going into collision, just riding those tackles, keeping your feet, looking for one of your teammates who's in a better position than you. And then Ian Thornley, when he goes and when he's attacking the Hull FC defenders who are backing off, trying to buy that bit of time, trying to get one of the teammates inside who's going to come back and help them out. You've got to say Blur, he's strong, but Debser gives the ball to Thornley, holds it in two hands, then backs himself to score the try. Great finish as well.
Well, Tez, when you talk to the coaching staff at Hull FC, they talked about players pushing into that next hole. There's a perfect example there from Hull KR. As soon as a player gets his arm free, there is somebody available, And if they're marked, as we see, hopefully Mantellato is free to carry on this game for the Black and Whites. My word, they're having a good afternoon.
It's Mark Minicello who's still getting some treatments. He got underneath, tried to get underneath Ian Thornley, and went over on his neck, as you can see from this replay.
Yeah, nasty.
And then he's got Thornley landing on him as well. So,
well, Minicello's is one of the leaders of this team, and it'll be a sad sight to see him leave.
Tuimavave already ruled out for the rest of the game.
Yeah. At least he's up, at least he's walking.
So his fellow Italian international, Josh Mantellato, will try and goal this from the sidelines. Mantellato lining the kick up. The breeze, a gentle one at his back. He's teed that up perfectly, swings it through the posts. And those Rovers supporters sensing another Easter victory against their big rivals.
Well, a quality finish from Ian Thornley. He has Mantellato in support, backs himself to finish the try. Watch Webster's reaction to this. I think he's a bit surprised.
Cockayne is underneath the restart. Real problems for Hull FC. They've now got two players out of action, Tuimavave and Minicello. And Hull Kingston Rovers have got an 18-0 lead.
Bill, and they're two of the biggest weapons, aren't they? Lee Radford knows it's backs against the wall time now, lads. Let's see what you've got in this final half hour. We're getting beat by effort, we're getting beat by energy, enthusiasm.
It's Graham Horne now for Hull Kingston Rovers against his former club. Horne plays the ball. LFC started this second half promisingly, but they just haven't been able to find a way through the Rovers' defence. It's a great kick.
Intelligence. Big chase, great kick. Look at that, numbers there. The red and white shirts flooding forward here.
Tough times. There's 6 in the table, Hull FC, you forget that. 3 wins to their name so far this season, but this is a tough Easter. They've got Warrington to come after this. And they might be down on numbers.
Is it Warrington then Saints? It's 2 big games for Hull FC, whereas Hull KR have got Wigan and Leeds. So both of these sides want the 2 points.
But not much easier then.
No, it's not, but what you want to do when you're going into the big games is come up with not only with a decent performance, but walk away from the games where you've been so committed, you walk away with 2 points as well.
Still time. Plenty of time for the Black and Whites to find a way back into this game. Danny Houghton. Sneed now. Jamie Shaw. Shaw, though, hounded by that Rovers defence. Great work out there.
Well, I don't think they're asking enough questions. It's easy for if you're just passing the ball and just shipping it on to players who are outside it. All the defence has to do is just keep pointing up. I've got him, I'm going to push off. You keep working him towards the touchline.
Here's Sneed. Gets the pass away just as Tills clatters him, and Washbrook is travelling backwards as well. Maurice Blair
He's
on
had a
top
big
of him.
tilt. Sorry, Bill, he's had a big tilt, hasn't he?
Ellis. He'll do everything in his power to drive this FC side forward. So will Danny Houghton. For out of play.
On the last tackle, Danny Houghton, he gets a fast stroke. He's had nothing to play off all day. And the temptation to go down the short side, it had a low percentage of success. Quick hands, can't release the fullback Michaels or the winger Michaels. Andy Last and Lee Radford can only watch and wonder what's going through the minds of their players. Certainly not how they practice, not how they prepared to take on Hull KR, and they're in a really tough spot now, the black and whites.
Trailing by 18 points to 0 in this, the first of our Good Friday games. Coming up next, St Helens against Wigan. I'm sure Langtree Park, the fever is building up there. The pressure cooker really is intensifying, just as it is here. The pressure's certainly on Hull FC. Coming up to the hour mark, they trail by 18 points to 0 against an improving Hull Kingston Rovers side, and this man's presence has something to do with that. Albert Kelly. Kelly has picked up a knock there.
Well, he's getting excited. There's a high shot on Albert Kelly.
I think it's Bowden, Josh Bowden. He's got a smaller, more agile man. There you go, watch this. Just hits him just around the chops. But Albert Kelly, I like to see that in plays. He's not diving on the floor. We've already seen that this afternoon. None of that nonsense, thank you. Carry on, get up, play on with the game. He's had a wonderful afternoon, this fella.
Former Gold Coast Titans player, Albert Kelly. The penalty back about 25 metres out, and Josh Mantellato has got the kicking tee, and he'll look to extend James Webster's team's lead.
Bill, and that's an indication to what's going through the minds of Hull KR. Albert Kelly in that set of 6 ran at the Hull defensive line, taking them on, so the confidence is building. And the likes of Albert Kelly backing himself to beat some of them. You've got Bedebza out there who'll cause problems. Maurice Blur and Ken C, who scored that fabulous try in the first half. So they've got the players who can cause Hull FC problems, and can this kick go over? Pressure kick here from Mantellato.
But he can handle that pressure. Elegant, easy for Josh Mantellato. 20 points to 0, easy it isn't. But Hull Kingston Rovers on their way to their first nilling of their arch enemies since 1993. 20 points to 0, the scoreline at the moment. That ball has come up for Adam Walker. Walker to Bedebza.
Hull FC got it back from the kick-off. They knocked it back, and it went into a Rovers hand. The first to everything at the minute, Hull KR. That shows they've been winning the energy battle. They've got plenty still in the tank. Bedebza goes down again.
Here it comes off. Is it Scott Taylor who bats it back? Well, Bedebza goes down there, and as soon as he goes down, Liam Watts turns round to the referee. He thinks that there's a knock-on from the French international.
He's okay to continue. Bedebza wants a Pierre and Lesignon. Smart signing he was for Hull Kingston Rovers. Unheralded player, but he's given them good value.
He's one of those bargain buys that's come into the club and really enhanced what they're doing, isn't he?
Of course, his fellow Frenchman Kevin Leroyer is still out, will be out. I was talking to him before the game for another 8 weeks potentially. That is a big loss for them, but they seem to be coping pretty well in his absence, in the absence of 1 or 2 other players as well. Terry Campese notably. Knock on there.
Good decision from Michaels to come in and shut that down from the black and whites. He had to take the risk, take the gamble, and Thornley can't catch it and pass it at the same time. Just going back to Bedebza, Bill, did he persuade you to eat snails, escargot?
He'd never get me to eat snails, not after what happened the previous time. The last time. No, won't go into that. Won't go into that. Frog's legs, Barry.
That's it, yeah. How did they taste?
Very nice, very nice, very chickeny.
Yeah, don't get me eating them, and I'll eat anything.
Jamie Shaw, this is what he wants. This is Jamie Shaw's opportunity to get Hull FC back into this game. And he gets to the try line, plunks that ball down. Referee Bentham says it's a try. It's a lifeline for Hull FC. A try out of nothing for Jamie Shaw. Rovers went to sleep. Shaw pounced. They're back in it.
Well, he's a strike player, isn't he, Jamie Shaw? When he gets into the clear, he's so quick. He'll take on Ben Cockayne. He knows that he's got him for speed. Graham Horn, I think it is trying to push him out and keep him out to the sideline. Made 161 metres last week versus Wakefield, carrying the ball, Jamie Shaw. Excellent young player. Can this kick go open from Mark Sneyd here? Important kick.
Sneyd, 22 goals already for Hull FC this season. And he knows how to land them against Rovers. He kicked 7 from 8 against them at last May's Magic Weekend win. That 46 points to 20 victory. They need these 2 points. They've got them. They've got hope. Jamie Shaw's try has helped give them that.
Well, it's Kurt Eamon's offload back inside. He has to be there in that position, Jamie Shaw. That's the role of a fullback. Follow that ball. And they put more metres on the board, more metres on the clock, more kilometres, as they say nowadays. And he has to be in the right spot. He collects that and finishes it well.
And it was that mention of another nilling that obviously got to Hull FC because they didn't like that prospect.
Help there!
Norton hoping that the referee would accept he wasn't tackled, but referee Phil Bentham tells him to play the ball back there.
2. Move now!
An hour gone, 20 points to 6.
Goal 2.
Still time for Hull FC to turn this game around. Washbrook now, Washbrook steps back in field.
Third, move!
Are they going to unsettle
Goal 3.
the Robins?
3.
Ellis,
4.
another try,
Move!
back-to-back tries for Hull FC, and that would have them
Goal
a little bit anxious in red and white colours. Sneyd, here is Frank Pritchard. Pritchard, short pass.
5. Move! Wait. Goal.
Yeaman plays the ball. Sneyd hoists it deep. It's a good one. It's into sort of no man's land. Mantellato and Cockayne came for it. Cockayne claimed it.
Well, you want a dominant call. Cockayne as the fullback. I think he was waiting until the very last second before he went to claim that. And 2 players nearly collided. Mantellato just moved out of the way in time.
3. Move, stop! Goal 3.
And it's Cockayne who was
4.
quickly there to
Move,
pick up that
Liam.
ball and scoot.
Hold. Goal 4. 40.
Maurice Blair drills that kick downfield. That is a great kick. That's what Rovers needed.
That's fabulous. Now that buys you some energy.
Oh, and then Jamie Shaw glides past the first line of defence and glides round the next and glides almost all the way to the 40-metre line. Great return from the full-back.
It is, but that's poor defensive. You get such a good kick away, you've got to make sure your defensive line is getting up and it's talking. With the likes of Jamie Shaw, a man who can create something out of nothing like he did with that try, you need to make sure you switch on.
Pritchard rumbles and then offloads, and there's a little bit of confidence coming back into the Hull FC handling now. And Pritchard again. Pritchard once more able to offload. Ellis is there in support.
He's worked so hard, Gareth Ellis.
Move, John!
On his blood to water today.
Houghton, Washbrook. Mahefanoa.
4. Move!
He's tackled.
Wait, goal 4.
Just need to settle down to Hull Kingston Rovers, just in case they're starting to get a little bit anxious. They still hold a decent lead, but they've got Hull FC fired up now, coming at them, fired up and looking for more points, and fire up and getting it from Danny Houghton. They're back in this game with a vengeance. And it's turned around for those supporters. It's turned around for Lee Radford. And Danny Houghton gets a second try of the game to make it 20 points to 10, kick to come.
Well, we've got a game on now. Lee Radford at half-time asked his players, push yourself into the next hole. Look at how many black and white players are offering themselves. Some question marks on some of these offloads, but you can't doubt the quality, energy and enthusiasm. Something that's been lacking in for the Hull FC players and the Hull FC team in general. Good stuff. Gets them back in this game. Scott Taylor providing the last pass. Those are the boos that you can hear from those black and white fans. Great stuff.
Scott Taylor, Liam Watts, Danny Houghton, three of the biggest players for Hull FC. Wow, you've got to hold your nerves here, Bill.
Great handling, but was that pass from Taylor to Watts forward? Certainly in the eyes of the Hull Kingston Rovers supporters, it clearly was, but they would say that, wouldn't they, as Sneyd confirms 2 more points. Houghton's try gold by Sneyd, 20 points to 12, here you go.
Well, here's the offload. Does it go forward? Well, from that angle, it looks like it is. That one goes back from Watson. In that set of 6, it was all hands on deck from Hull FC. They know they're running out of time. They know they've got to push the pass. But when they push the pass, make it an easier catch for your teammate. Don't just put him under pressure. And he's certainly game on. And how important will that 2 points, that penalty that Josh Mantellato kicked around 10 minutes ago?
Oh, and FC get the penalty. 20 points to 12, 15 minutes to go. It's the Hull derby, and there's never any shortage of drama. Remember the Etihad Stadium 2012, 2013?
Yeah.
We've got it coming again.
Yeah.
It is nailed on.
The quality these derby games, aren't they? The big fellas having a go now. All the big influential players now for Hull FC are putting up their hands. They want to be involved in this derby. They don't want to lose. Offloading again in collision.
Suddenly Rovers are struggling. They're just looking a little bit flustered because their opponents are dominating proceedings at the moment. Danny Houghton, Danny Washbrook, Gareth Ellis. They're out 20 metres. Here's Sneyd. Big Frank. Oh, Norton puts the ball. It's Yeoman who puts the ball down. And the opportunity goes begging. An ironic Yemo cheers from the Rovers supporters.
Well, it was a 3-on-3. Frank Pritchard, he gives a delicate pass, and Kurt Yeamans, he's got eyes for Ken Sio. He's wondering what he's going to do. Is he going to draw and pass, release the winger, run over the top, step in?
I agree with you, Barry. It was a 3-on-3, but a man mountain. You've got Frank Pritchard. He's got a half-back in front of him. Not saying Albert Kelly can't defend, but take him on. Try and bump him off, try and offload the ball, try and attract some other Hull KR defenders.
So Hull Kingston Rovers get the ball back, and they'll try now and just settle things down. Get Hull FC up the other end of the field, play the game down there, diffuse some of the energy that Hull FC have rediscovered since they got a lifeline in this game. Here's Kelly, and Kelly kicking early.
Bill, that's the game. Played the territory. Just get it away from your try line, but you don't want to make any mistakes. Albert Kelly taking control in that set, knowing that as soon as he gets a quick play of the ball, he knows exactly what he's going to do.
So Hull Kingston Rovers are in familiar territory because they were leading Salford 30 points to 6 last weekend, and ended up seeing Salford coming back. 44-30 the final score, but Salford got to within 6 points at one stage, so they're no strangers to jitters, and there might be some more for them now because Frank Pritchard has got the ball and they're backtracking again.
Great line from Kurt Yeaman, and a good offload as well to the big fella.
Taylor, Sneyd fires the pass to Washbrook. Washbrook gets the pass back to Sneyd, and the Rovers supporters wondering why he was able to get that pass away so easily.
The Hull KR fans have just gone a touch quiet now, Bill.
Michaels takes the tackle, 20 metres out. That's number 4. Washbrook, Taylor. That's the 5th. Sneyd there to hoist the kick, is he? Absolutely. It's more into midfield though. Claimed and eventually batted back, and that's good work. Still on the last, the referee says that Watts wasn't tackled, and Shaw chips ahead. Still going, Jamie Shaw. Great work from the fullback.
Well, Hull FC on that last tackle. Sneyd puts it up high. There's a contest, a few offloads. Jamie Shaw ends up with it, and he decides to kick it, follow it. He's a good player, Jamie Shaw. Bags of energy and enthusiasm. As I said, there hasn't been enough of it in the black and white shirts. Some individuals have maintained their energy and given as much as they've got. And Lee Radford, he knows that this game is still winnable.
Seems to have changed, doesn't it? The flow of this game in the last, what, 13, 14 minutes? All seems to be Hull FC, and James Webster, wow animated is he now?
He looked so calm about 15 minutes ago, but feeling the tension here. That's a wicked goal line dropout, and had Sneyd struggling in the sunlight. Bowden barrels it back for Hull.
Bring it back with some intensity. That's what Bowden did.
Watts the ball held in one hand.
Still got it. He's got it. 2, go.
Plays it. And then Sneyd finds Pritchard. Pritchard.
3.
A little swivel from him.
I just feel there's a try coming here for Hull FC.
As Kelly down on his haunches. Norton.
4. Move. Here.
He plays the ball. Geeman, I beg your pardon. Keeping it alive. Taylor now loping across the field. Bats them away. Still going, Scott Taylor. Hull retreating to their own try line. Houghton, Sneyd, long ball. Ellis gets it, clutches it, back to Shaw. Shaw trying to improvise. Doing so well. Mahe Fonua kicks ahead, and Cocaine cool as a cucumber, but they were taken out, says the referee.
I think you're right.
Shoulder in there.
I think you're right. I think the black and whites continue to pile the pressure on Fonua. He gets bumped off by Thornley, and they're just offloading the ball. Too much for Hull KR's liking, but it's playing right into the hands of the black and whites. They look a lot more threatening when they're doing that.
Go line, lads, come on.
He's bouncing about now, isn't he, James Webster?
We're back, come on.
Fonua! Mahe Fonua has got over the try line, right under the nose of the referee, Phil Bentham, and the gap narrows still further. Those Hull FC supporters cannot believe it. Lee Radford remains as cool as a cucumber, but Mahe Fonua back in the side after 5 games out, get his second try of this season and making the most of that penalty.
Well, it comes around because of this penalty here from Thornley. Fonua, who's the man who's taken out from the Hull KR left centre. A simple play, and that's too soft on your own try line. Danny Houghton, such intelligent, the no-look pass. Ian Thornley just loses his man. He thinks that he's looking and concentrating on the man who's sweeping out the back. Takes his eyes off that man, and wow, this is it. James Webster knows that they are under pressure now.
He's doing a very good job of remaining very calm, Lee Radford. Arms folded, hardly a flicker. But he must sense that if Sneyd can claim these points, he's missed it. But still, at 20 points to 16, there is still time.
Well, quite simply, the next score will take this. Just over 8 minutes left in this game. No mistake about that try. Lovely set-up from the from the hooker Danny Houghton, who brings Fonua onto a short pass. He's looking at the player sweeping behind, and that close to the line, you're not going to stop the big fella. We're in for a fantastic 7 and a bit minutes now, Bill.
Onside.
Rovers taking their time with the restart. Cocaine eventually launches it deep into the corner. They need to hold their nerve now, do Hull Kingston Rovers. They seem so in control of this game at 20 points to 0. But from somewhere, Hull FC have found a way back into this game.
They seem to have run harder, they seem to have worked for each other. As I said, it's only been the last, 16, 17 minutes that they seem to have the attitude that they want to play, that they want to actually beat Hull KR.
Who says Albert Kelly can't defend? He was hurling in there.
Well, if you run straight at him, Albert Kelly can get underneath it and drop the biggest of players in Super League. Sometimes it's decision-making that gets him caught, that catches him out.
Houghton has been a key to this fight back. Ellis now, oh, sidestep from Gareth Ellis, gets the pass away. Oh, play on, says the referee.
The Hull FC players looked at that ball on the floor. waiting for the referee to blow a penalty.
And Cockayne picked it up.
Watch the offload, Danny Houghton. He is bumped off the floor. Danny Washbrook, he's pointing at the player that bumps him. Gareth Ellis rolling back the years.
It's crazy. It's madness here. It's Danny Washbrook.
But you get caught up in the atmosphere, don't you? The second tackle, looking for that offload. You think you've got an opportunity. You think you've split Hull up the middle, and that could have been the game breaker. That's right.
Hull have it back. 6 minutes to go. Just over. Oh, another borderline pass.
It looked it. Frank Pritchard was even surprised he had it in his hands.
Watts eventually brought to ground about 25 metres out. James Webster looking at the clock, wondering if his side can withstand the pressure that's coming their way at the moment. Here's Mahe Fonua. Fonua gets the pass away to Michaels. Michaels steps back in field and gets over the try line. And Steve Michaels brings the scores level. Unbelievable. Hull FC celebrate. We were talking about their first nilling since 1993, not so long ago. Now it's 20 points to piece. And Lee Radford remains ice calm. The supporters of Hull Kingston Rovers cannot believe it. Those of Hull FC are besides themselves with jubilation. Number 4 of the season for Steve Michaels.
Oh, well, what a 10 minutes we've had here. What a 10 minutes. Steve Michaels, the eventual recipient. There's the offload. The ball is golloped up by Hull FC. Danny Washbrook playing a standoff today after the injury to Carlos Sumabave. And the big fella, Fonua, he gets the offload. That try still needs some finishing. And Steve Michaels had to show composure, had to be cool. Here's the offload. Right foot step, back inside. 20 points all. Holy moly. What a game.
This takes some finishing, doesn't it, Michaels? Ben Cockayne normally very strong in the tackles, but look what it means to those Hull FC fans. And Mark Sneyd, can he kick this conversion to take his side 2 points clear in what has been a brilliant final 20 minutes.
Well, Steve Michaels got 2 tries against Hull Kingston Rovers last season. I'll take my hat off to Lee Radford. Probably the calmest man, he looks the calmest man inside the KC Lightstream Stadium at the moment. He must be very, very disappointed with the way his side... 59 minutes, Hull Kingston Rovers didn't give Hull FC a sniff. And since then, the world has fallen in on Hull Kingston Rovers. And Mark Sneyd could add 2 points here to put FC ahead. Hull Kingston Rovers 20, Hull FC 22. Now, Lee Radford allows himself a glimmer of a smile.
Well, there's always things happening in these derbies, and it's been an absolute incredible final quarter for Lee Radford's men.
He's fuming, Lee Radford. He's probably wondering what happened in the first hour. He's probably thinking, why don't we play like that for the entire game and show the same urgency that we have in these last 10 minutes. I've said it many a times, he's the most passionate Hull FC man I think I've ever come across, Lee Radford. And it hurts him when his team's playing bad, it hurts him. And you can see it in his face, you can see it in his body language. His players now have got themselves back into this game. Less than 4 minutes. Wow.
The way this game has gone, Barry, there is still time. And this is a Hull derby. I mentioned 2012, the Etihad, 2013, the Etihad. There is still time for a kick to ricochet off the roof of the stand.
Absolutely.
Off the head of the referee and into the arms of a Hull Kingston Rovers player.
I don't think Hull KR deserved to lose this game. It's been a momentous comeback for the Black and Whites. He'll kick this off the island, I think, Mark Sneyd. Slow the pace of the game down. Take your time. He's asking, was there a deflection, Mark Sneyd? But just Albert Kelly. I think Albert Kelly,
we're just going to check whether
it touches his foot. I feel very confident of that, whether
we give Hull
it's deliberate or accidental. He's made a huge difference to this game. Let's have a look. Does it touch him? Yep, it does. Is that classed as a charge down?
I don't think so.
He's moving towards it, but he turns his back.
James,
Well, referee Phil Bentham is actually going to consult, I think,
is it his running stride?
James Child, possibly.
He's asking whether it's his running
Okay,
stride
ball,
or he
just a
goes
running
to
stride.
kick it. Yeah, I think probably the right decision. James Webster and Lee Radford,
Give me
they've
that
both
one,
got the
Scott,
same
give me that
face.
one.
Neither one of them is prepared to count the chickens
Heads
just yet.
in. Okay, out.
But Hull, Kingston Rovers, well, it almost got away from them against Salford last week. We mentioned that earlier on, how they almost let the lead slip. They've got a penalty. They've got a penalty.
Another 30 metres. They'll get over the halfway line or approach the halfway line. Could we see another dramatic try in this game?
I wouldn't bet against it. They've got the potential.
First, move.
Hull FC now,
Go.
holding their nerve. Kelly,
2,
just over the halfway
Move.
line.
hold, go.
Blair finds Kelly, they change direction. Cocaine. Ken Seo, who's looking to get that ball away.
Make it
I
back.
can't stop watching Albert Kelly. I'm just looking at the
Go,
pitch,
free,
watching
go.
him. He's in absolutely everything he wants to set up. That's the field position. Is he going to come on this right side now?
Move. Go for
Graham
it.
Horn
Go.
plays the ball.
4.
Blair for Cocaine. Ellis gets a hold of him.
5.
Coming up to 2 minutes to go here. Just 2 points the advantage for Hull FC. Blair kicks cross field. Everybody challenging for it. It's batted back, and it's a restart on the 20.
And Maurice Blair, he puts that kick high. And Albert Kelly, the number 7, he attempts to get involved. It's a little bit too far. The black and white players are out on their feet. Is that Kirk Eatman who's down?
Rating. Head injury.
There's a collision in background. These players are absolutely exhausted. Yeah, Kirk Eatman, I think he just collects Ken Seo. He's not watching the ball. Oh, sorry, he's not watching the player, he's watching the ball.
Clock stopped. And, well, we've already had Mark Minicello off the field. Hasn't returned.
This is where it went out.
Catches a knee right in the face.
There might be people thinking that Kirk Eamon's
Playing for
just
time.
playing for
Yeah,
time.
that was
I
my
think it would be.
initial thought, but
Not after that.
no, you see that. The physio and doctor having a really good look at him, giving him all the time he needs. And the black and whites,
They cannot
those
believe it.
fans, it's been the great escape. They haven't played well.
Well,
Probably played well for about 12 minutes of this game.
59 minutes, they didn't get a sniff. And now, if they achieve this, it will be the greatest comeback in the history of the Hull Derby and Super League. They are that close.
It's the 10th one in the summer era. As we see Kirk Eatman, he's just going to sit upright. That's a good sign. Look at the folded arms on the crowd there, every one of them.
There was so
And look
much
at the joy of the black and whites.
They were in
There's
so
sport
much
for you.
control. Hull Kingston Rovers.
Yeah,
Kirk Eatman back on his feet. Lee Radford down on the sideline, knowing that his side are that close to back-to-back wins. And Kirk Eatman, well, back in the side because of the injury problems. Been playing for Doncaster. He slipped out of favour. But in 16 Super League seasons, Kirk Eatman has seen, he's familiar with this situation.
been on this pitch many times. He's been involved with this particular four. He's been on the good side and the bad side. And it looks as though Hull FC are going to take the points. I know I'm going to jinx myself by saying that.
Well, Hull FC have just got to ride out the last minute and a half. Rovers should get another dig to try and still snatch this game, a game they thought they had won. Well, not won, but certainly their opponents well at bay, but they've allowed them to get back into it. Not celebrating yet. Frank Pritchard. He's suddenly found something, hasn't he, to help them get back into this game.
It's that momentum word. It's an invisible concept, momentum, and some people believe in it, some people don't. Gareth Ellis, as the captain, has been on the other side of it and tried to change it and swing it in favour of his team. And it looks as though the Black and Whites are going to end this game with momentum in their favour. Lee Radford will be relieved, but certainly not satisfied.
Lee Radford, 37 tomorrow. It is going to be some birthday celebration with this, isn't it?
I'm not sure he'll celebrate. Look at his body language. He knows that it's not been good enough, and he'll expect more from his side. The fans will just be happy with the 2 points and the bragging rights. And we'll be happy to sing and celebrate.
Warrington to come for Lee Radford's side, Wigan to come for James Webster's side. And they've let this one go. Into the last 30 seconds. They need some magic from somewhere. And this being the whole derby, that's not beyond the realms of possibility. Young George Lawler claps his hands. Adam Walker, Kelly fires it wide to Ken Sio trying to burst through, but Ellis and co shepherd him towards the sidelines.
He's been all over this pitch, Gareth Ellis.
The clock counting down. They've got to come up with something now. Blair over the top and snaffled by Maher Fanoa and snaffled by Lee Radford's Hull FC side. Unbelievable. Down and out after an hour, down on their knees. They have left Hull Kingston Rovers absolutely gobsmacked. The greatest Hull derby comeback in the Super League era. And Gareth Ellis, an inspiration to this black and white side, who've won another Hull derby. They've been on the receiving end in this Easter fixture for the last 3. But Danny Houghton and Frank Pritchard salute their supporters. And their supporters, who must have thought after 59 minutes that they might make an early rush for home, cannot believe the way they have turned this game round. It has been another lively Hull derby. Okay, at times, quality not the greatest, but the endeavour, the drama, no shortage.
Well, the passion, desire and commitment has been sporadic at best. But those black and white fans, they certainly feel better about this afternoon than their associates across the city. 12-0 at half-time, and the black and whites look dead and buried. You didn't know where the spark was going to come from. Gareth Ellis, he dug in all afternoon, but there were some really telling contributions. Curtis Norton, Michaels and Jamie Shaw.
Well, Jamie Shaw, that try that really sparked the comeback. And he is the first Utility Super League man of the match. He'll get a bottle of bubbly from Terry.
Well, Jamie, what about that performance, especially the last 20 minutes? Where did that come from? Where was it in the first half?
God knows, I think it was all down for the exciting end, but being an old lad myself, I know sort of supporters, and I'm just ecstatic.
Well, do you know, when you look at your performance all year, you started off the first 2 games and you were really good, weren't you? And then you've faltered it in some of the other games, but today, that last 20 minutes, is that a warning sign for other teams in Super League?
Yeah, like I say, we started off well, and we haven't been great the past 3-4 weeks, but we weren't 60 minutes there, not our best, but we dug in, and it shows our character that we've got in our camp.
Do you know, when you look at the next 2 games, you've got Warrington, you've got Saints coming up, is that the 2 points that you definitely needed? Is that the confident lift that you need?
Yeah, definitely. We've got 2 points now. It's a quick turnaround on Monday, and we'll fancy our chance against Wire.
And what about Hull Car? Do you feel sorry for them?
Being an old lad, no, but yeah, give and take them.
Cheers for your time, Jamie. Enjoy your champagne. Gaz Ellis coming in, the most decorated player on the pitch. What about that performance?
Well, to be fair, we were in the game for 50-60 minutes, and then
we knew the scoreboard was never too far away from us, and we knew after all the pressure that KR had, we would get our chance, and we certainly took it.
What was the talk in the dressing room at half-time? Because you were well and truly beaten. In all honesty, we were saying in commentary, you were beaten in the middle where we thought that you'd be really strong.
Yeah, we were real positive, to be fair, at half-time. I think that's the way you've got to be. You know, that negative vibe that you get sometimes can put you on the back foot, so we stayed positive. We knew that, like I said, we'd get our opportunity. It was just a matter about when we did get it, we got our purple patch, we took our chances, and the scoreboard shows.
Have you felt pressure as a team and as a group of individuals that you've not really performed? You started really well this season and then you faltered in other games?
Without a doubt. I know we won last week against Wakefield, but it was really tentative performance. But we got the win. But you know, looking back, we've won 4, we've lost 3. 2 of them we scored by a point. So it's not doom and gloom like we sometimes pressure ourselves to be. We're a top team, and we just need to realise that sometimes.
Well, brilliant game there. Well done, Gareth Ellis. You were absolutely everywhere. Roll back them years, lad. And Lee Radford, here we go. It's your birthday tomorrow, 37.
29 again, Terry. 29.
How are you going to be celebrating that? Are you going to go and get the champagne off Jamie Shaw?
I think so, yeah. He's not allowed to have any this weekend, so I'm going to have to be forceful on him. I think what a just a great game, I thought. You know, from both effort, the effort from both sets of teams was, through the roof, and to finish in that manner as well. Fantastic, really pleased.
In all honesty, would you have said it's a great game from both sides if you hadn't come up with that final 20 minutes?
I think if we'd have got nipped at the end, then I would have, because I just thought we ran our blood to water, and I felt they did first period as well. You know, for 60 minutes we had one half back on the field, and I thought we looked like that as well when we had the football, but defensively, you know, again, I can't fault any of their efforts.
You're a proud Hull lad, and you wear your heart on your sleeve, don't you? We saw you come out of retirement years ago when you were on the coaching staff at Hull FC to play in this derby game, and your reaction at the end just sums up what it means to you to be coach of this club, doesn't it?
It does. I live across the road, so you know my life's not worth living when we lose these games, like, you know, literally. So to get a result here is massive, and you know, from everything we pull in, and there's glasses getting thrown at the bus, and it's brilliant. That's what it's about, you know, this derby, and that's why it's so special. But can I just say, Terry, my assistant Andy Last, his dad's doing it tough at the moment, Steve. You know, we'd like to dedicate this win to him today, and you know, get well as soon as you can, pal.
Thanks for your time. Well said. And James Webster, the man who, for 60 minutes, James, you must have thought that you had it. You did everything well in the first half. At half-time, you thought, yeah, this is what we need to do. We need to keep making sure we turn up for each other. But that final 20 minutes, they were just too good, weren't they?
Yeah, I thought, we ran out of troops too, Taz. You know, with 11 minutes to go, all our subs were gone. We had a lot of people play today, busted and bruised, and I thought we got some big momentum changes in that game. You know, kick chase we didn't do, the 4th and 5th tackle penalties we gave away. I thought we got some tough calls against us, and you know, once they got some momentum, we just weren't good enough to defend it. Do
you know, when you look back at the game and you think that the forwards, and they were going to come here up the middle, but your troops really stood up well, didn't they? They stood up well last week against a Salford side, and you've blown them away for the first 40 minutes. Again, you've blown Hull FC away for 40 minutes, but you just couldn't finish that game off like you did last week.
Yeah, and that's where we're at the moment. You know, we're not quite good enough to get 80 minutes done. You know, there's lots of factors to that. One, a bit of experience, and two, you know, we've got 11 and 12 blokes training at the moment. We've got 5 or 6 blokes needling themselves up to get on the pitch. But that's rugby league. You know, that's the situation we're up. We've got an extremely small squad, and you know, we're down to bare bones. But I can't take any away from Hull today. Congratulations to them. We'll have to learn from this one, and you know, get ready for Wigan on Monday.
Thanks for your time, James.
Super League never fails to deliver, does it? Well, rarely anyway. We had a fantastic match at Castleford last night with the Tigers beating Leeds Rhinos, and today we have seen the 29th Super League derby between Hull KR and Hull FC, and we have seen the comeback of all comebacks. 20-0 up, remember, the Rovers were at one stage with about 20 minutes to go. It looked like it was theirs to lose, and lose it they did, courtesy of the tries from Shaw, Houghton, Fanua and Michaels, and Mark Sneed kicked 3 goals. 22 points to 20. I don't know how on earth you pick a game changer out of that, but that is the job of John and Brian.
Thanks very much, Eddie. James Webster in his post-match comment said, we're not quite good enough yet to string 80 minutes together. How accurate a comment. 12-0 they led at half-time. We're going to look at the first 18 or so minutes from a Hull Kingston Rovers point of view. And again, inspired by Maurice Blair, they were doing everything right.
Yeah, they were. I did think that the first 10 minutes after half-time would have a big bearing on the result of the game. How wrong I was, because Hull KR picked up where they left off. I thought the defence on the line was good once again. I remember Mantellato in the 5-6 minutes into that half screaming over his opposite number to take a ball in defence, and you thought all those building blocks were there, and all the signs that you would look for as a coach or as a fan. You're saying this was great, and then when Thornley crossed after that great break by Blair up the middle, you were then looking at how Hull KR would go to close out that game.
That pushed it to 18-0. Mantellato penalty, 20-0, 22 minutes left in the game. You asked at half-time for a spark. It needed it. Radford referred to only one half-back being on the field for 60 minutes. A spark was going to be difficult to find. What sparked Hull FC into this greatest ever of comebacks?
Step forward, Jamie Shaw.
Really?
He had an outstanding second half. His influence grew throughout the game. I'm going to pick him up just at the start here, because this was his try direct from the scrum. I mean, to look at the starting positions, you look at this defence, and that looks pretty settled to me. They're not on the outside. The outside runner here for Hull FC. These guys are not pressured, not stretched. But Hull FC, with one pass, managed to get the Hull KR defence moving sideways, which is it's catnip for someone like Jamie Shaw. Have a look at what happens here. Direct from the scrum, and it's that pass there that gets one-on-one. This is 3v3 at the time, but 1v1 here, and a nice little space that opens up just on the inside. Keep your eye on Jamie Shaw here, because he shows great balance and pace, and a lovely swerved step as well to get on the outside to cover 60 metres. And there's your spark. There's your spark for your revival. Now, the next piece of footage is a little less dramatic, but no less important. This was a kick chase I think James Webster referred to in his post-match interview there.
Terry complimented the kick, and he was right to compliment it. The chase was appalling.
Well, a three-man chase on a kick that long you could maybe get a four-man chase because the length of the kick. You're never going to get 5 or 6 men. Yeah, but you've got to. I'm going to credit Shaw for just the ability, the vision, and he turns that from what would have been a 15-20 metre start to the set to starting a set on his own 40, which, by the way, culminated in Danny Houghton going over for that try on 63 minutes. 12 minutes and the fight back was well and truly on. He's the man of the match and he's the game breaker.
That made it 20 points at 12. 2 more tries, 22-20. What a comeback. What a start to Good Friday, Eddie. Back to you.
Oh, it couldn't be better, and I think we have more to come here at Langtree Park, because as you can see, the players of St Helens and Wigan are out there on the pitch now. They're getting ready for this big local derby here. We have a capacity crowd on the way to the Langtree Stadium. Everyone wants to see this. It's the hottest ticket in town this Good Friday, and Hull KR have certainly provided the drama in the big city derby. What follows next? It is Saints against Wigan right after this.